Hey everybody, welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. This is Justin Banks Guitar, the channel where I teach you techniques to take your playing from intermediate to advanced. This is going to be episode 6 on this channel. Thank you to everyone who's been supportive so far, the subscribers. A lot of views out there, so I'm pretty happy about that. So today's lesson is going to be the last of the pentatonic series. If you haven't seen them yet, I've already done 4 other videos explaining the pentatonics, the caged method, visualizations, and things like that. I'm going to put the playlist up in the corner right now. If you have not seen those yet, I highly recommend giving those a look over, and all of the supplemental material is on my Patreon page. Just sign up as a free member and you can get it all for free. All right, so today what we're going to do is we're going to combine all the stuff that we've been talking about and we're going to use it in a modern approach. So we're not talking 1960s or 70s pentatonic riffs and things like that. We're talking modern day, 2020, 2010s, that type of stuff. The more modern ways to use your pentatonics. So let's dive in. All right. Number 1, first thing we're going to do is we're going to remain in the key of A minor, A pentatonic minor. So, one of the modern techniques that guitar players are using nowadays is they're using open strings to complement the extension of the pentatonic. Since we are in A minor, okay, the notes of that scale are A, C, D, E, and G. All right, those are our 5 notes. So, if we look at our open strings, we have E, A, D, G, B, and E. So we can use all of our open strings, okay? It adds a little element if we're fretting a note and we have open notes. That gives us a little bit more of a different taste, okay? Now, the B is not actually in the scale, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to keep it in there. That is going to be a major second. Or it could be a 9th, depending on how we're looking at it. A good application of this is going to be to fret some strings, okay? And then we're going to have our open strings. So if we had that right there, this is an A minor 7 with a 9. Beautiful chord, okay? And this is something that we can absolutely have. That's something more modern, okay? We're not doing the... Number 2, adding harmonics. Since we're going to be using open strings, we can also add in harmonics. All right, these again are all in the scale. So, they're just an octave. Again, we're going to have a B in there. No issues. All right, because we're going to use that as our 9th. The trick is to use that use it in correlation with some of the stuff we're doing. So, if we have, for example, A minor chord, A minor 7. Something like that. A nice little to add in with the riff. I'm using A minor 7 here. Doing a palm mute. And then we have our harmonics. And then I'm using, I'm in pattern 4 here to pattern 3, so I can go back to my A minor 7. Because again, we're trying to make it sound musical. More open. All right. Adding the harmonics gives you a taste of different octaves, okay, from the notes that we're fretting. So adding those gives a little bit of an ornamentation to what we're already doing. This is huge for modern day pentatonic players, for, you know, prog stuff and things like that. All right. Number 3, slides versus bends. We are no longer we're not really doing those, you know? It's a lot of like type of stuff. So we will slide down and then use those open notes and harmonics. So that type of stuff. That's incorporating everything we've done so far. So we have a chord with some open, harmonic, pentatonic, there's our slide. So instead of like a, you know, that type of stuff. All right, now finally we're going to talk about hidden chords. So inside every scale is the implied harmony of that scale. All right. For example, in a pentatonic minor, we're going to have an A minor chord. We can have the triad. All 3 of those notes are in the scale. We can have our A minor 7. Nice. C major. Only because we're using the open B string would it be a C major 7. But otherwise, that's not normally in the scale. We're talking about extending the pentatonics slightly here. So we're not only talking about breaking the patterns, but, you know, we're adding in this case, we're adding in a 9th. So, or for C, it would be a major 7th. For D, we do not have an F or an F sharp in the scale, so we're just going to do a sus, okay? So it's going to either be a D sus2 or a D sus4 that we have. E, we have an E minor 7. We have that all day. With the open B, we have our 5. But it's not really necessary. And then for our G, we're going to have a sus chord again. It's going to be either a sus2, all right, which is going to be G, A, and D, or a sus4, which is G, C, and D. Because we have our open B string, we could technically have a G major. So, I mean, yeah, extend it. Do what you want with it. So the very first chord of this little riff that I wrote has the A minor 7. Right. Another A minor. It's the 9. Then we have this wonderful chord, which is D sus. E minor 7. Another E minor. So this is all the stuff that we were talking about. A lot of chord shapes and a lot of cool stuff like that. And what I'm going to do now is I'm actually just going to show you this full riff that I put together. All right. And it uses everything we just talked about. This is the more modern approach to getting your pentatonics done, and it doesn't sound like classic rock. It doesn't sound, dated or anything like that. This is the newer way to do it. So if this helps you hear the pentatonic in a new way, go ahead and hit that like. It really helps more players find this video. And if you want more modern approaches like this, subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. So as always, the lesson materials are available for free on my Patreon page. Just join as a free member and you get your PDFs, guitar profiles, and backing tracks for all the lessons that I've created. If the tab is on the screen, the material's on my Patreon. Now, I would really love to do a Q&A on Fridays, so go ahead and drop some questions in the comments section so I can get that going. Let's build this community up, guys. So until next time, keep practicing, keep progressing, and keep having fun.